everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. So today we are going to do a little color comparison with our brand new in colors. So they will be available in the upcoming annual catalog. So if you don't have this, mine will be here I think on Thursday. So for those of you that ordered from me last month, yours go out first. So hopefully we'll have those in the mail around Saturday. And then if you're in Card Club, you'll get those sometime next week. Those will go in the mail. And then everybody else, if you ordered from me since September, you'll get those next. Then if you don't have a demonstrator and nobody's sending you a free copy of the catalog and you're in the US, you can message me and I'll be happy to send you one. And those will go out after Card Club. So by the middle, probably around the 25th or so, I'll have all my catalogs out. I'm helping host my niece's bridal shower Easter weekend, so there'll be a little blip in there where I'm not working. I'm working, but I'm going to be doing shower stuff, not work stuff. But Club and those of you who ordered in March will definitely have yours out by next week. So those are going. So I can't show you the inside of this yet, but once you have it, of course, you can look at the inside. And then it does start, I think, May 3rd. So then I'll do a fun little walkthrough and all of that. So my gifts with purchase in April, you can read all about it on my website if you're on my email list and you already know. So the one gift, and mine accumulate. And this month I've made it super easy. Normally there's 4 levels. And if you place one order early in the month and then you order later on in the month, like you can keep adding. So I'll add them all together towards the end of the month, and the highest level you get, like you just keep getting more and more gifts. So this month there's just 2, but you can still get 4 gifts. So one is my girlfriend makes the bone folder holders and my husband drills the holes. So one is the bone folder with the charm. One is, it's not this kit, it is the Under the Weather something weather. It's the one with the rain boots. So that kit. And then my VIP videos, normally those are in between levels as well. Everybody gets the videos if you purchase from me in a month for 2 projects. And then if you spend $50, you always get the supplies for the first project. And if you spend a different level, then you get the second. But this year it's just, this month is just 2 to make it easy for me because I have a super busy month. So I'm not doing any classes this month, online classes. Normally I do 1, sometimes 2. But because busyness and showers and taxes and all those kind of fun, not fun things, I'm only doing Card Club. If you go watch this video, you learn all about my Card Club. It's a monthly subscription, so it comes every month, and this is their first project for the month. And then if you go watch this video, you learn all about it. So, and then I will open my Try It class, which is my most popular class. I do it with every new catalog. We'll do 12 cards. Each one will feature a new paper. That's why there's 12. And they'll have new ribbons. They'll have new embellishments. Some will have new punches, new dies. There'll be templates. They all have videos. There is a PDF that has measurements and pictures. And that does fill. So when it opens, you'll have a couple of weeks and then it will fill up and then I'll close it. And the reason it fills is because it's a lot of work to put that class together. And so my husband sets a limit to how much that he'll help me cut. So let's do this. And so here are the new colors. So if you're unfamiliar with the way that Stampin' Up's colors work, is we have a core of 48 colors. And then every year there's 5 colors that they introduce that are on trend. So they're trendy. That's why they're called in colors, because they're in. So I can guarantee if you walk into any clothing store, home goods store right now, these are colors that you'll see in the clothes, you'll see on the kitchen towels, you'll see on the tablecloths, you'll see in the curtains, because these are the in colors. And if you go to last year's in colors, you'll see those still too. And then every 5 or 6 years, they kind of like transfer some of the colors that have kind of gone out and move those into our core collection and take some of them that are kind of look dated and move them in and out. So these are this year's, and so I like to show you kind of how they fit in with colors we already have, because sometimes you see this and you're like, well, I already have Poppy Parade, I don't need Sweet Sorbet. So I like to show you how it kind of fits, because when you put them together. So let's just start. We'll start with the reds. So I have already taken a couple of them and stamped with them. Now I haven't stamped, I have only stamped with the Parakeet. because I used it on a card that I'm gonna film after this one. So here is Poppy Parade, here's Real Red, and here's Polished Pink. So what I did was I kind of took ones that where it kind of fell in there, and then here's the new Sweet Sorbet. Before I do this, for those of you that don't know, because I run into it all the time, what you do when you first get a Stampin' Up! Stamp pad, because they come like this, and then they have these stickers on the back. And sometimes I'm bad. I'm especially bad since COVID because I was the only one using my stamps. So if you just take these, there's stickers back here, and you can pull the whole thing up, or you can just pull up the one that you want. So just pop this up and see these stickers come up. Now, if you do it out here, then you're not going to damage in here because this is the one that you want right here. So pull this up. And now you have the one that says Sweet Sorbet, or in the language that you want. And I always like one of the other languages too. Like this is Sorbet Sucré. It sounds a little bit more fancy than Sweet Sorbet. So you put one right here. And that way when you stick them on your stamp pad shelf, or wherever you store them, like mine are stored this way, that way you can see. So when they all have their labels on, you know which one you're grabbing. Otherwise, you don't know which one you're grabbing. So that's where that one goes. But you have all these other ones. So they give you this one right here, which is designed to go, and you open our pads just like this. And then you're supposed to slide them in. If you watch my videos, I never, ever, ever, ever slide them in unless I'm using a background stamp. Like maybe that is the most I ever slide them in. I don't like to slide them in. I use mine like this. So if you have arthritis or you're just a little bit lazy like me, because then you don't have to pull them back out. Sometimes at my in-person events, they slide them in and then they get them stuck and they're like, I can't pull this back out. And I'm like, well, you slid it in, you need to pull it back out, because I'll slide them in for that very reason. When you get older, sometimes your hands don't work, but sometimes when you're younger, your hands don't work either, because sometimes the younger girls do it too. So I'm going to take the one that says Sorbet Sucré, because that one makes me happy. I think it's the French. Well, I know it's the French. So this one right here, because you have a bunch of them. Now you can put this one here. So when you have this one open, and maybe you have Poppy and you have Real Red all open on the table, and you are either stamping or watercoloring with them, and you don't know which is which, now you do. And then you can take, I moved it over here. You can take your bone folder, and this little tip right here is perfect for this. So just kind of slide that in there and press that down. And then I'm not going to show you the other, but see, you still have another one. You have two more left. You have the one that's that has no words. In fact, there might be two, because there's two now, because there used to be a Japanese one, and we don't have any market in Japan anymore. So there's two plain ones. So you can put the one that says Summer Sorbet, which ours is Sweet Sorbet. You can put one here. So you can put the one that's the color, or you can put the one that has words right here. And then if you want them to use these little things where they stack nicely, you do need to lift this whole thing up, because it adds just a little bit of a fraction of an inch. And sometimes it makes them not stack as nicely, or you can leave it on there. Then what I do is, because like I have a blend stack, I have where I keep my husband built me a little storage unit. So you can take this part right here and cut these apart, and then use those little stickers on other things as well. So if you see my pads, I leave those on there because mine don't stack, so I don't need them to stack as well. But that's how you first use your stickers. So now let's see how Sweet Sorbet lines up with Poppy Parade, Real Red, and Polished Pink. Like I said, I haven't stamped with these. So this is from our new stamp set, limited edition, and I want to show you something. So it is designed, if you sell our cards, then you're supposed to put a copyright that just says Stampin' Up! On the back. It's a legal thing, so if you don't want to break the law, it needs to at least have that tiny little Stampin' Up! So every year there's one of these in the catalog, and this year they have refreshed it, so there's a new one. I took this one right here that has this cute little stamp. It says hand stamp, and then it also has the copyright. I cut it into 3 pieces because I just wanted the stamp, and then I like that it says hand stamped, but I might put that on the back of a card that just says hand stamped, and I can write my name underneath it, and then I could have the copyright separate. So right now, all I'm working with is the actual cute little stamp. So let's see how Sweet Sorbet looks. with Poppy, Real Red, and Polished Pink. And of course I'm stamping right there on the top of the, so you can see it's a much more pink than those. It doesn't look at all like those. And I have the cardstocks out, which will help us. Here are the blends, and I'm gonna finish this off and I'm going to color all of the blends. I'm not gonna do that right now. I haven't even opened these. I took them out of the packaging. Sometimes the first time you open them, it's a little hard. So here is the dark Sweet Sorbet. I'm gonna pick the color that I think it looks most like. That's why I have a lot to do. And here's the light. And of course they dry a little lighter. So I think it's probably most like Poppy Parade. So let me pull my Poppy up here. And I'm just gonna add, this is the light. Poppy Parade has a orange tinge to it. And here's the dark. So there's 4 fun shades of red. And when you are coloring and you need shades of color, and as those dry, they will, you'll be able to see that. I need to remember, I'll probably have to go back and watch the video to remember what I did. So now let's look at the cardstock. So we have Poppy. This is another fun thing to do, is just punch circles out or squares, Polished Pink, and then here's the Sweet Sorbet. So you can see it's probably a lighter version of Poppy. I mean, that's the closest color that it is. It's not anything like Real Red, and it's not anything like Polished Pink. It's the closest to Poppy. So those would layer really nicely. So I'm gonna stick that there so we can kind of cover that up. You know, our refills are on back order right now. So since I'm not making a card, I'm going to use some old snail that I have. Let's put this on here. And then I will take a picture of this and put it on my website. And I'll probably add the blends to the little stamp there so you can see it colored with the blends. So there is Sweet Sorbet. So now let's do my favorite color, is the Parakeet Party. And the reason I've used Parakeet Party is because the next tutorial I'm going to film is with the Sweet Songbird, and I used Granny Apple. Now Granny Apple is typically the green that you go to when you want our brightest green. So we had Lemon Lime Twist not long ago. This is probably close to Lemon Lime Twist, which was a brighter green. I think Lemon Lime Twist was a more 80s green. So normally when you think of a bright green, then you go to Granny Apple. But when you stamp it, it's much more like olive. Oh, here, I forgot to just show you this. When I pulled out the cardstocks, there were a couple of others. So here's Sweet Sorbet. Here is Mango. And here is Flamingo. So it kind of fills in, I'll put these down here, some of our other pinks. Because when I pulled this out, like this looks red. But when you get the cardstock out, it can tend towards the pink as well. It's Sweet Sorbet lands in that sweet spot between pinks and reds. So I do have that. Granny Apple lands in the sweet spot between a bright green and an olive. And I'll write those names on that. Because when you get Granny Apple out, here is Granny Apple. And here's Olive. And Olive and Pear, I didn't pull the pear cardstock out. Because when you look at this, you don't think olive and you don't think pear. But here's Granny Apple, which is kind of what you think when you see that. But the ink is a pretty dark ink. And here is our olive paper. So you can see, and you'll see the progression between this and Parakeet. Now, if you don't have one of these, you need a chamois. You need something to clean your stamps. Now, if you're using red rubber most of the time, you can get away. I know people like to use baby wipes. Well, for me, it smells like you're changing a dirty diaper. And my daughter is, getting closer to 30 than she is to being a baby. And it still smells like a dirty diaper to me. But if you use photopolymer, all that fiber from those sticks to your stamps. And sometimes if you're like, why do I have all these little strings all over my stamps? It may be from your baby wipes, because they're designed to clean babies' butts, not designed to clean your stamps. They do work better on these because they're not sticky. So here's the Parakeet, and it's just so much brighter, and it made a huge difference. So watch my Sweet Songbird card, and I'll show you how much of a difference it made. Look how much brighter that is. So when I wanted my card to be bright and cheery, like Granny Apple was our bright and cheery green, but now we have bright and cheery. Isn't that so much a happier green? So I am so happy that we have this. And Luscious Lime has always been my favorite color, and that was like in the 1990s. So I'm happy that we have that back. So here we have Granny Apple. I'm gonna kind of put it here. And then Pear is a lighter shade of olive. So here's olive. And then look how much fun. I mean, this would be a pretty card. That I started to say that before. If you punch a bunch of circles and keep them in a bag, you can handwrite the name on them. I may do a color coach thing for my gift in June, not in May, because May's another busy month, although we're on vacation in June. So, you know, busy month after busy month. But then you can kind of drop these in and mix them up and just pull out colors, because this, maybe with a purple added, would be a really pretty card. But this is a great sweet spot in between all those, and such a brighter ink. So let's stick this here, and then let's pull out. Look how much fun these are. And again, here's our Granny Apple. That one's here. So when this was our bright green, look how much brighter we can go now with this. So don't think I already have Granny Apple. I don't need Parakeet, because there isn't even a comparison. So is this the dark or the light? This is the light. And here is the dark, which looks, sometimes on these bright colors, when it says dark, it really means brighter. Oh, that's just that's a happy place. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Granny Apple, because we're really only working with the two greens here. This is dark. I mean, look, that is Granny Apple. Make sure, yep, that's Granny Apple. I'll make sure I didn't have olive. It doesn't even compare. There's no comparison. So don't think that you don't need the Parakeet because you already have Granny Apple. And here is the light. So it tends much more towards the olive than it does towards the Parakeet. So there's Parakeet. Now we're gonna move down here to Tahitian Tide. It's probably, I literally just gave my daughter all of my super old papers. I probably had some old Tempting Turquoise, and it may be, you know, because 80s colors are kind of back. And so Tahitian Tide and Tempting Turquoise, although I think the Tempting Turquoise was a little bit brighter. Maybe had a little bit of Coastal Cabana mixed in, and I do have that in here to show you as well. So here is Pacific Point, and here is Balmy Blue. And then here's Tahitian Tide. So let's stamp with the Tahitian Tide. You can tell when I did this which of my stamp pads need to be re-inked. Re-ink your stamp pads, people, because this looks bad. Look how much nicer this stamps when it's fully new and re-inked. And here's why, because, you know, the Waves class, or the Waves paper, the Waves of Inspiration, I did a lot of using my blending brushes, and that just sucks all that ink right out of your stamp pad, and I didn't re-ink them. But I don't like to re-ink them right before I stamp with them. Look at the difference when you have a fully inked pad. Super bright, super cheerful. So again, I pulled these colors out by looking at the stamp pad, and then as I started pulling out paper, and I saw this, it kind of goes again. Here is Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, and Coastal Cabana. So again, it doesn't hit any of the blues that we already have, which in a second we're gonna hit the next two. The starry sky is, I'm not even sure where that classifies, if it's a blue or a purple, so it's on our purple page. So there it goes with that. Now let's go with Tahitian Tide. Here's dark, and I'm not gonna do any kind of comparison because it's not. This would have been nice to have during our Waves of Inspiration class. I would have used it. So there's the blends for that. So I don't think I've stuck those down. Did I stick them? Nope. I'm just gonna move it over and I will stick it down, and you can go to my blog and I will take pictures and have this on my blog. So our last one, again, it has some blues, it has some purples, because I'm gonna show you something. I'll show you the blends before I have a mess. Before I show you the ink pads, because here they are. Are they purples or are they blues? Or exactly what are they? I think they may even be mixed up. So here's Orchid and Starry Sky. So they're mixed up. So let's do Orchid and Starry Sky. So here we have, this is Gorgeous Grape. This is Misty Moonlight. And people, I think, were asked, nope, this is Night of Navy. People were asking if Starry Sky was like Misty Moonlight. And of course, this color's gone anyways, because it leaves this year. But I think because of the name Starry Sky and Misty Moonlight, people were like, are they the same color? So we're gonna see. Like I said, I haven't stamped with them. So let's stamp first with Orchid Oasis. Sometimes the first time you open the stamp pad, that's the first one that I had any issue with opening. Almost forgot to clean that. That would have been a Tahitian Tide Orchid Oasis. This is Orchid Oasis, kind of has a periwinkle feel to me when you see the paper. And it hits a spot that we don't have anything like, because all of our purples, this to me, when you mix it with some of the colors, and you'll see it when you get your copy of the catalog, when you mix it with some of the greens and like there's a page where it's mixed with maybe olive and the new green. It's so pretty. But if you have a child in high school, because when my daughter was in high school, her colors were purple and white. And back then we had Concord Crush. That was one of our end colors. That was the purple that I needed for her high school scrapbooks. This can be a nice high school, college purple, because it's just a bright purple. But here is the paper. And the paper, when it's mixed with like this, it takes on more of a periwinkle. But when it's just on its own, and especially with just the ink, it has a nice school feel to it. So let me clean this off. I need to make sure I don't talk and muddy my whole thing up with a messed up thing. Now let's go Starry Sky. So I put it in between the blues because people assume it's blue. You see it has more of a purple tinge to it, but again, I haven't stamped with it. Stamping with me right the first time. As much as I miss in-person Stampin' Up events where we get all this stuff new, see, it's not even close. It's not even close to Misty Moonlight. So it's a sky, but it's a different sky. I mean, think of how many times, the sky can be orange, the sky can be pink, it can be yellow, it can be blue. So just because they gave it a sky name, I think it's made people feel like it's Misty Moonlight. It's not. And here's the paper. It's quite beautiful. So it's a purple with a blue tinge. I don't know how to describe it. But this right here, this would be beautiful. Oh, I did stick this, of all the ones I stuck down, one was the Parakeet. But look, just throw this green in with a couple, well, you don't have this anymore, but just add that with a couple of those and it's a really pretty, especially spring card. So this is Light Starry Sky. We're almost done. And then I'll kind of fill in a little bit of these. I might keep filming and then I will add it to my Instagram because there I can go fast and you don't hear talking. That is a gorgeous color. So just when I think Parakeet Party might be my favorite color. Give it 2 years and by the end it may be this one. Just because it hits a place that we don't have. We don't have anything like this. It's kind of how Misty Moonlight was. It's how Cinnamon Cider was. Often my favorite in color ends up being the one where there's nothing else. Like Cinnamon Cider was my favorite current one that's outgoing because we have nothing that hits Cinnamon Cider. We have no brown that's a gingerbread. We have no brown that hits that brown. And once it's gone, it's gone. So we have that gingerbread stamp set coming back. This is light. There won't be any brown that you'll be able to stamp those gingerbread stamps on because there's no gingerbread brown anymore. And here's the dark. See, that's a good, it's a good periwinkle, but over here, if you need a high school color, then that mixed with your high school photos, it's gonna work for you. So let me pull these over. I don't have any other additional colors to add to this one, which is a good thing because that's a pretty full piece of paper. And there are our 2022 to 2024 in colors. So I'll finish up adding some of the blends and then you can go watch that on Instagram. Have a great one. And come back to watch my Songbird card because I will show you the huge difference that it made using the Parakeet Party as opposed to the Garden Green. It just lightened up my whole card. Talk to you later. Bye.